For over half a century, one name has haunted the American imagination, a phantom who terrorized Northern California and then vanished, leaving behind a trail of cryptic letters, taunting ciphers, and a chilling legacy. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. Our story begins in the late 1960s, a time of supposed peace and love. But for the communities around the San Francisco Bay Area, it was a time of fear. On December 20th, 1968, high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were shot and killed on a remote lover, Essie Lane in Benicia. It was a brutal, seemingly senseless act. 7 months later, on July 4th, 1969, another couple, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau, were attacked in a similar fashion. Darlene died, but Michael miraculously survived, giving police the first description of the attacker: a stocky, heavy-set man. Just minutes after the attack, a man called the Vallejo Police Department. He calmly reported the crime and, in a chillingly monotone voice, claimed responsibility for both the July attack and the murders of Jensen and Faraday. This was just the beginning of the killer's twisted game with law enforcement and the media. Less than a month later, 3 major newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald, received a handwritten letter. The author took credit for the shootings and included details only the killer could know. But there was more. Each letter contained 1/3 of a 408-symbol cryptogram. The killer demanded the newspapers publish his cipher on their front pages, threatening more violence if they refused. His message was clear. This wasn't just about murder, it was about attention. He signed his letters with a cross-circle symbol, a mark that would become infamous. He had given himself a name: the Zodiac. The public was gripped with fear and fascination. A high school teacher and his wife, Donald and Betty Harden, managed to crack the 408 cipher. The message was rambling and filled with misspellings, but its content was terrifying. The killer wrote, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." He also spoke of collecting slaves for the afterlife. The mind behind these crimes was clearly disturbed, yet cunning. The Zodiac's reign of terror continued. On September 27, 1969, he targeted another couple, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, at Lake Berryessa. This time, the killer wore a bizarre executioner stylude. He tied them up before stabbing them repeatedly. Cecilia tragically succumbed to her injuries, but Brian survived and provided a detailed account of the horrifying ordeal. The killer even left a message on Hartnell's car door, writing the dates of his previous attacks and signing with his cross-circle symbol. 2 weeks later, the Zodiac claimed his final confirmed victim, taxi driver Paul Steen, in San Francisco's Presidio Heights neighborhood. This murder was different. It was in the heart of a major city, not a secluded area. After shooting Stein, the killer was seen by several teenagers who called the police. In a now infamous blunder, the police dispatcher mistakenly described the suspect as a black male, causing responding officers to pass right by a white man walking away from the Sina man, who was almost certainly the Zodiac. The Zodiac couldn't resist bragging. He mailed another letter, this time to the San Francisco Chronicle, enclosing a bloody piece of Paul Stein's shirt as proof. He taunted the police for their mistake and threatened to attack a school bus. The city was on edge. The Zodiac was a ghost who could strike anywhere, anytime. And then came the ciphers. The most famous of all is the 340-character cipher, which remained unsolved for 51 years. It taunted investigators and amateur sleuths alike, a silent testament to the killer's intellect. In December 2020, a team of private citizens, a web designer, a mathematician, and a computer programmer finally cracked it. The message was another taunting. rambling Nochi dismissing the idea he was afraid of being caught. So, who was the Zodiac? The list of suspects is long and perplexing. The most prominent has always been Arthur Leigh Allen, a former schoolteacher with a troubled past. Police had strong circumstantial evidence against him. A former friend claimed Allen confessed his desire to hunt humans and used the name Zodiac. He owned the same type of watch and boots as described by witnesses. However, his DNA and fingerprints never matched the samples collected, and he passed a lie detector test. Allen died in 1992, taking any secrets he had to the grave. Other suspects have emerged over the years. Richard Gaikowski, a journalist for a counterculture newspaper, had a writing style and physical description that matched. Lawrence Kane, a real estate agent with a criminal history, was identified by one of the victim's sisters as a man who had been stalking her. More recently, in 2021, a team of independent investigators called the Casebreakers named Gary Francis Poste as their prime suspect. Citing forensic evidence and coded messages they claim to have decided. However, law enforcement has not confirmed these findings. Despite decades of investigation, thousands of leads, and countless man-hours, the Zodiac case officially remains unsolved. The San Francisco Police Department marked the case as inactive in 2004, though they reopened it in 2007. The killer's letters stopped in the late 1970s. Did he die? Was he imprisoned for another crime? Or did he simply stop, satisfied with the terror he had created? The Zodiac Killer's story is more than just a true crime tale. It's a mystery that has seeped into our culture, inspiring books, movies, and a worldwide community of amateur detectives. He was a killer who understood the power of media, a forerunner of the modern media-obsessed criminal. He created a persona, a brand of terror that has outlived him and his victims. The case is a frustrating puzzle with missing pieces. The physical evidence is limited, the eyewitness accounts are varied, and the killer's own words are a mix of truth and misdirection. He played a game with society, and in many ways, he won. He was never caught. His identity remains a secret, shrouded in the mists of Northern California, just as he intended. The Zodiac's shadow still lingers, a chilling reminder that sometimes monsters are real and sometimes they get away. The search for his identity continues, driven by a hope that one day the mask will finally be lifted and the phantom will be given a name. Thank you for watching. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into cases that continue to baffle us.